Welcome everyone to this edition of Dads on Wrestling. I remember it's not the Dads on Wrestling because you corrected me once before, so it's Dads on Wrestling with the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, complete with RVD Post, and Jeff Meacham, and we have a non-wrestling topic today.
Yes, don't shoot us.
Please.
We didn't come up with this. If you want to blame somebody, blame at Mike X270 on Twitter.
That's right, it's all his fault.
He gave us the topic, and you know us, we just said, hey, y'all want us to talk about stuff? Give us topics, and we'll do it.
I mean, if you want us to talk about, fuck bubbles and sperm burps, we'll talk about that too. It's whatever you want to talk about.
Fuck, man.
Always engage the audience, Jay. Always engage the audience.
That's right. Although, well, no, we can't really hold this against him because this tweet was sent 7 hours ago and the shows haven't gone live yet. So he did not include the hashtag hire Sasha hashtag that we said that
right,
we would do.
But
those shows haven't been gone up yet.
Nobody knows about that.
Completely broke kayfabe,
Yeah,
but whatever.
It's all right, whatever.
So yeah, at Mike M-I-K-E, the letter X 270 says, "What are your top 5 favorite TV personalities? Not the actors themselves, but the characters they played."
And we tweeted him back, like, just for clarification, you want to know our top 5 favorite TV characters, not just wrestling. He said, yes, preferably. If you have to stick to wrestling, I understand. We're like, no, we got this. We got this. So, since I'm the one that handled the verification of this, if you will, and since I think your list is better than mine, personally, I'll go ahead and do mine first.
Okay.
No particular order, because I'm doing this the Jade way.
Damn it.
Anyway.
Sad.
I have 2 Star Trek characters on my list. One from Next Generation, and that's Lieutenant Commander Geordi LaForge, the Chief Engineer.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he started out as a little junior grade lieutenant there, running the ops position of the bridge, just kind of just steering the ship, and, being all skinny, and the NWO's contacting me, and
God damn
that's
it.
what shit happened.
LeVar Burton was a member of the NWO Wolfpack.
That's right. Hey, Carlin favored in my tweet, so that's a good interruption right there. Good for Carlin. I love Carlin. Anyway. And no, I don't mean George. He did. Anyway.
Damn.
But once Geordi moved to engineering and took over the chief engineering role, I was fascinated by the inner workings of the USS Enterprise, and I always enjoyed LeVar Burton's portrayal of Geordi, and I liked how they developed him over the years and fixed his eyesight at certain times, and because he was born blind and had a visor. A blind guy in the future, you think by the 21st century they'd be able to cure blindness, but they didn't. He had a rare defect in his eyes, and he had to wear a visor. He was super cool. Plus, I like LeVar Burton. He was good at reading Rainbow. He was good in Roots. He was just.
That's not a Donald Sterling racist comment.
No,
he was great in it.
He was. And I like LeVar, so I like Geordi. The other Star Trek character on my list is Captain Catherine Janeway from the Star Trek Voyager series. And I like pretty much everybody on Voyager, but I really liked Kate Mulgrew's portrayal of Captain Janeway, the first female lead captain in Star Trek history, the only to date.
Okay.
You had a female captain of the Saratoga in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, but she was a bit part at best.
Yeah.
And of course they gave that part to a black woman, so, whatever. That's just terrible. Donald Sterling approved that. So, yeah. But Captain Janeway was a fierce leader, but she was fair. She was firm but fair. She was a great captain. She and 7 of 9, Jerry Ryan's role, the board. I know.
Yes, Lord.
We all love
Jesus.
7. We all love 7. 7 was hot. She was brought in for the sex appeal, no doubt about that. But the relationship with Captain Janeway really showed the human side of both of them. And I thought that was really well done. Dan Connor from Roseanne, John Goodman's character, had such an evolution over the show and ended up in the real life story of the Connors, died from his heart attack in the end of the previous to last season. So it was just really cool that, the character evolved, and the last season of his portrayal was pretty much a figment of Roseanne Connor's imagination compared to his death. And I just thought Dan was just this great macho guy and trying to deal with his little tomboy girl, Darlene, growing up to trying to be a woman, a dark woman at that, and then Becky having a pregnancy scare, and just all the things that a dad of the '90s had to deal with,
Right.
and he dealt with as best he could. Another dad of the '90s I always enjoyed, and I love the actor too. So let's not mince words. Is Tim the Toolman Taylor from Home Improvement? That's right. Yeah, I get Tim Taylor. I got pretty good stuff. But Tim Allen's portrayal, my God, Tim Allen, with the exception of his relationships and his personal life and his alcoholism, anything he touched from like 1993 on turned to gold.
Yeah, from the time he started Home Improvement on.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Home Improvement, there'd be no Pamela Anderson in the lexicon.
Although Jungle to Jungle.
I like that movie. I personally like that movie. Maybe it's just me. But
I never saw it, but I always heard it was just that awful.
It's very, very hokey. But
Is it one of those that's so bad it's good?
Yes, you gotta figure you got Tim Allen and Marty Short.
Santa Claus 3.
Santa Claus 3, that's right. Only about 10 years before. Yeah.
But not as good.
Not as good. Not as good. It's still good, but not as good as Santa Claus 3. Santa Claus is definitely 1, 3, 2. Definitely. No question about that. Yeah. But back to Tim the Toolman Taylor. Yeah. Again, without that character, there'd be no Pamela Anderson in the lexicon of America, so let's just be upfront about that. But, he had a great relationship with his wife. He had tremendous work appeal with Al. His kids looked up to him. His kids admired him. Especially little Mark, who grew up to be this freaking goth kid, which is weird as hell.
Yeah.
But, Tim Taylor was great. I always enjoy it. And I every time I see him in anything, I always grunt along when I see him talking in his front ear now. Even as Buzz Lightyear, I'll grunt. Even as Buzz, I'll grunt because of Tim Taylor. And my number one,
you caught in Toy Story, right? The Binford Tools.
The Binford Toolbox, yes, absolutely. That was totally there. I saw it. Yeah, remember Disney owned ABC.
Exactly.
So Home Improvement was, Home Improvement was part of Toy Story.
I just loved that.
That was great. It was very cute. My top of all time is the other four can be moved around or whatnot, but my number one is Lucy Ricardo from I Love Lucy. Lucy is the quintessential housewife that wants to be more than she is. And her and Ethel's schemes and her plotting against Ricky and trying to get in the act and just so many so many moments you can't even just pick one. But if I had to, it'd be Vitamin D Benjamin. By far. My favorite episode of the show of all time. So much so that I went to Universal Studios so often just to go to the Lucy Museum and see all the stuff every single time I was there.
Yeah.
That's how much I love Lucy.
It's a great list, and we only agree on one.
I know. It's kinda.
Well, no, we agree on one. It's just different placing. So.
What I'm saying is your agreement that you have with me is like a half agreement.
Yeah. Anywho.
Spoiler alert.
I actually have my list in order. I didn't go the Jade route.
That's okay.
And pretty much...
As it should be in life.
Pretty much everybody on my list is like old school.
Yes.
There's very few new characters on there. The only true new character on my list is number 5, and that is Sylar.
From
A.K.A. Gabriel Gray from Heroes, as portrayed by Zachary Quinto.
Who also has a Star Trek tie-in.
That's right, he's Spock in the most recent movies.
Yes.
But the character of Sylar was so excellently written
And portrayed.
that it was hard to be against Sylar.
Yes.
As much as you wanted to love Claire and Peter and Hiro, I almost put Hiro Nakamura on here instead of Sylar, but I thought about it and I was like, no. If you've got to pick one character from Heroes, it's got to be Sylar, because he had so many mindfucks and up and downs. He was the normal guy who discovered he had a power when everyone told him that he wasn't special, and then he became the most powerful villain out there Then it was all stripped away from him in the second season.
Yep.
And then he was working pretty much the entire second and third season to get that shit back. Then we thought he was a Petrelli. You know, complete spoiler alert for anybody that's never seen Heroes.
I was gonna say, go
But
watch
it's
Heroes,
almost,
but
it's
fuck.
almost fucking 10 years old. If they ain't seen it by now, what the fuck ever. Seriously.
But
That's like saying, spoiler alert, Darth Vader's Luke's father. It's fucking 30 years old. Get the fuck over it.
Next.
Once it gets to be almost a decade old, the whole spoiler alert doesn't count anymore.
Okay, but-
it's been out there long
But
enough.
for those of you that still care, please borrow a copy of Heroes from your friends and watch this shit.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Or buy it.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I bought all
Just
4
amazing.
seasons, and pretty much, I don't think I spent more than $60 for the whole series. Because I would wait for places like Target and Walmart to run them for like $10-15 a season.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, number 5,
we got you 4 for Christmas, didn't we?
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Siler. Number 4, Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, because I feel you can't have one without the other.
Okay.
Lucy and Ricky were the yin and the yang. Without Ricky and his club, you wouldn't have had Lucy's harebrained schemes to try and be in the show.
All right.
You know? Like you said, the Lucy and Ricky, you know, quintessential couple. You know, they were
Which is
perfect.
funny because they weren't in 1953 because it was the first interracial on-screen marriage.
It really was.
Cuban and American.
And
It was groundbreaking. The whole show was groundbreaking.
so many great moments, like you said, you know, Vitamita Vegemin, you've got the Chocolate Factory, you've got John Wayne's Footprints.
Yes.
My personal favorite has always been Harpo Marx.
That's great too, absolutely.
Personal favorite.
Well,
you got the
well,
grapes,
well,
the
well.
grape stomping.
Well, but you're also a Marx Brothers person, are you not?
Well, yeah, but I didn't become a Marx Brothers person until that episode.
Okay, well, see, there you go.
So, Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, props to Desi Arnaz also.
Definitely Desi, absolutely.
Number 3, Dennis the Menace from the 50s, Jay North.
Jay North, yes.
You know, as a kid growing up, I related so much to Dennis.
We all did.
Talk to my parents about how much I was like Dennis the Menace. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Again, great writing. Mr. Wilson was a great foil and friend to Dennis at the end of the day. As much as he loathed the little brat, deep down he loved the little shit.
And we
to death.
saw bits and pieces of that here and there throughout the course of the series. And by the way, since you're mentioning all these all these older shows from the 50s and whatnot, props to channels like Nick at Night, like TV Land, like Syndication on like Channel 11 and 13 out here in LA for running these shows.
Yeah, not as much anymore. Nick at Night is how I learned my TV history when
Yeah.
Nickelodeon was first coming out. I mean, Patty Duke Show, My Three Sons, the Dick Van Dyke Show, The Many Adventures of Dobie Gillis,
Yeah, exactly.
Dennis the Menace. All these shows that, you know, Pinky would say are too white for her.
You ain't never fucking lied.
But Donald Sterling can't make a comment about black people. It's complete reverse racism there.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah, you know, seriously.
But Dennis the Menace loved that character to death.
Great character, absolutely.
Number 2, Jesse Cochran, a.k.a. Jesse Katsopoulos,
Yes.
portrayed by John Stamos on Full House. Who didn't love Uncle Jesse?
This character is so popular now. He's on Jimmy Fallon like every other week, pretty much, it seems like.
Yeah. It's like, personally, I was an Uncle Joey guy, because
Yes.
Joey was the comedian,
Yes.
did the funny voices. I actually started doing, you know, my own Bullwinkle impression,
Me too.
copying the Joey Gladstone
Right on.
Bullwinkle.
Yes.
Hey, Rocky, watch me put a round out of my head.
Again. It's time for sure.
You know, his Popeye.
Popeye was great.
You know, but Jesse was where everything was. That show was really all about Jesse Katsopoulos.
John Stamos got top billing every week.
It's like everyone thought it was about Danny and the kids, but at its core, it was about
It was John
Jesse.
Stamos' vehicle for Superstardom after General Hospital.
And number 1, Archie Bunker,
Oh yes.
portrayed by Carol O'Connor.
The
on All
original
in the
TV,
Family.
the original TV bigot.
That's right. And if you can't argue me about Archie Bunker as a great television character.
Oh, definitely
I mean,
not. Absolutely not. Regardless if you like the bastard or not, you know, at the end of the day,
And at the end of the day, he said shit that everybody was thinking but was afraid to say.
exactly.
and said it on television
Yeah.
on a weekly basis
On a
and
sitcom.
wasn't censored.
Exactly.
Let me see somebody try and do that shit today.
No way. No way.
Oh no!
But you know my favorite Archie moment though?
Sammy Davis Jr. has to be.
That's a tie.
Okay.
On Archie Bunker's place. When Edith passed away.
Yeah.
And he's in the room with her, I think it was her slipper, and just he's having this monologue all to himself, talking to her, telling her it wasn't fair, you weren't supposed to go first. And
It was the first time that Archie really had a heart.
yeah, and for me, the last year and a half, it really hit home because my grandmother left first.
Yeah.
And my poor grandfather was just left a shamble of himself. I hate to say that, but it was like, whoa. Archie Bunker moment.
So, those are our top 5 television characters of all time. Now, who are your 5 characters? Who do you think we should come back here and acknowledge that we didn't talk about?
Put the
Don't
comments
don't
in.
run us down for who we said. Everyone's got their own opinions. You know, we could sit here for another 3 hours talking about honorable mentions, but at the end of the day, Mike wanted 5.
That's right. Mike wanted 5.
It's like piggybacking off of your Tim Taylor. I could go Al Borland.
Yeah, or I could go George Feeney from Boy Meets World. That's my favorite show. But I didn't,
Yeah, I even busted his balls about
You
that.
did,
It's like,
yeah.
seriously, dude, you love Boy Meets World to death, and you didn't throw Feeney in there at all.
Feeney's the man.
You didn't pick Picard for
Well-
Next Gen.
Well, I have my reasons for that.
Excuse me. You know, I mean, there's tons of great characters out there. I mean, freaking Frank Gorshin's Riddler.
Jeez. Anybody from that series?
Well, let's not go that
mostly
far.
anybody. Mostly anybody.
Let's not go that far. But yeah, I mean, you know,
Alright.
there's so many great characters out there. Who are your top 5 television characters of all time? Leave them in the comment box right here. Somewhere.
Somewhere they were pointing down here.
Down where?
That's right.
Down there.
We're the Dads on Wrestling.
You're not.
See you
We'll
next time.